Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Anime Declassified, hosted by AnimeSecrets.org. I am your host, Rizwan Merchant, the owner of AnimeSecrets.org and one of your podcasters for tonight. But I'm not your only podcaster. We have a great little team assembled here to talk about the greatness that is Chainsaw Man, Episode 2. So, backup, would you mind giving the introductions on who you guys are?
Hello there, it's Anthony here. Just your average, everyday public safety guy that's ready to slay some devils.
I'm Clarissa, and I am Clarissa Healy, and I am here because um, I love power, and I wish I was power, but I also would like to marry power. And that's
Power?
all I really have to say about that.
Power is a very interesting character, but we'll get there when we get there.
Oh
Right.
yes.
So, when we last left off, our hero Denzi was killed in battle, and his body was taken by his pet Potsita, and his life was revived, and Potsita is now the heart of Denzi, and he has ordered Denzi to live his life to his fullest and follow his dreams. And that's where the episode ends, more or less. So, Anthony, you want to tell us about episode 2?
Alrighty. But first, I'm actually going to talk about the scene that wasn't added in the episode. Okay. So, as we know, Denji meets Makima driving the car, and they're saying, "Hey, like, oh, what's your name? What's like?" She didn't really introduce herself to like until they got in the car and started driving or whatever. And she's like, "Oh yeah, my name's Makima," and that type of thing. I'll feed you food, whatever, blah blah blah. And they decided they want to go to get some food at the udon place. But here's where the anime differs from the manga. So in the manga, there before they even got a chance to really eat or anything, a a man comes out and he's bleeding profusely. He's saying, "Hey, someone help me! Someone help me!" And Makima says, "I'm with public safety. What's the situation?" A devil basically kidnapped this dude's daughter, and she's like a little girl or whatever. And Makima orders Denji to basically go and rescue the little girl or whatever. And you know, while that's going on, the guy who's making their udon is like, "Hey, the udon's ready" or whatever. So basically, he has to like just go ahead and wait to eat to save this little girl or whatever. So when he gets there, he's contemplating. He's like, "Oh, he sees a little girl, but he sees that the devil she's with is like this weird worm-looking thing. It kind of looks like it belongs on Monster Rancher, basically." And like the little girl is like sees Denji, and she's thinking, "Oh no, don't hurt my friend. He's innocent. He's not gonna hurt me." Blah blah blah. And Denji, of course, thinking that, "Oh yeah, well, kind of understand what this girl's going through because me and Pochita had the same bond, whatever, blah blah blah. And maybe I shouldn't do this." But Makima clearly tells him like, "Oh, if you don't do this job well or correctly, I'm gonna kill you." That's basically what she was implying. Because she was saying that like, "Oh, you referred to as a dog," and from what I'm told, if dogs don't perform very well, they get euthanized, basically meaning that they put them down, basically. And
Wow.
they're pleading with him, saying like, "Oh, he can't. No, please don't hurt my friend." Blah blah. Only for this, only for like Denji to be like, "You know what? Maybe we should all run away together and like maybe let this little girl have fun with this demon or whatever, this devil, because apparently her dad basically has been like not been so friendly with her from what she says." Only for the devil, which is actually the muscle devil, to actually shows his true colors, and he was basically manipulating her the entire time. Like he was like attaching his body to her body, and he's like he grows more eyeballs, and he's looking more like showing his true colors, like, ha, I got you, I tricked you, blah blah blah, all that stuff that little girl was saying, that was all BS. I'm actually the one controlling her, and I was the one that attacked her dad, blah blah. And he's like, oh, so I gotta kill this thing. And he turns into Chainsaw Man, kills the devil, and rescues the little girl without her even like figuring out what what was going on, or whatever. And we cut back to the where the episode where, like, where Denji's been kind of passing out here and there. It's because like whenever he turns to Chainsaw Man, he loses a lot of blood. Like when those chainsaws come out of his body, that actually makes him like lose blood a lot quicker. So he can't really become Chainsaw Man as often he wants to, unless he ingests some blood to power up.
That makes sense given what we're talking about here for Denji to have that fault with his new powers.
Yeah. So when in the anime, they completely skip this entire thing altogether because they're just sitting there, they're eating their udon, but he passes out, and he wakes up and they're like sitting on the bench or whatever. Like that whole scene that I just talked about did not happen in the anime. So what are your thoughts?
It's possible they're going to revisit it later in a different way, or they just decided this wasn't needed for the anime storytelling.
Right.
Because if I'm not mistaken, we are only given 13 episodes for this season.
I think it was 12.
12 maybe. Yeah, so 12 or 13 episodes. So it may be that they're going to pick and choose certain things to put in, or they might just put everything in but in a different order because they're taking creative difference from the source material.
Yeah. Though I just think it's kind of like if they do this whole thing with this muscle devil, it would just feel kind of weird because out of place. I'm like, wait a minute, like this happened like immediately after he meets Makima, so it's like kind of weird that they would put it in another spot. If they do it, that's fine. If they don't use it, it's fine. I just want to point out, I was like, really, I kind of wanted to see that, but at the same time, I realized that maybe they didn't want to waste the CGI on Chainsaw Man for this one particular scene. I guess
Yeah.
because I've noticed he didn't turn Chainsaw Man at all in this episode.
I mean, he doesn't have to for this to be the title of the anime, though.
No, not
Um,
really.
so to me, I'm okay if he didn't transform once or twice here and there. Like, but if he goes like 5 or 6 episodes not transforming, then I'm gonna start wondering what's up.
Right. But at least there's actually a reason why he doesn't really transform as often as he does, because maybe it's like you said, he needs blood in order for him to, you know, power up and stuff like that, because the chainsaws like on his body literally hurt him when he halves them out. So it's not like
Yeah.
he has like this invincibility frame where like the chainsaws coming out of his body doesn't doesn't affect him or whatever. He has a weakness. So
What do you think, Clarissa?
Well, I think I'm really liking the dynamic that they have with the characters. I like that he's having a rough start, but he's also not taking any shit. I
right.
really loved his little fight that he had with that one dude.
Oh yeah. Let me actually continue on with what's actually going on with the episode, because people are like, wait, you talk about the manga part. Well, what's actually happening in the anime? So in
Oh
the
yeah.
anime, Makima basically treats Denji like a dog.
hmm
And I know most people will be looking at that like, that's not very good to see that. But for Denji, I think Denji's the type of
Genji's
character.
so used to being treated like that anyway that any kind of improvement,
Right. It's
it
like
like it's kind of messed up.
yeah.
Uh,
Because I think Denji just wants to be loved and appreciated, but he doesn't
mhm.
understand there has to be like, you have to have some type of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean dignity, yeah, but I was thinking of another term I want to use that sounded more refined. Self-respect. That's there. Self-respect. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm about to say. But so she feeds him. He asks her like, "Oh, what type of guy do you like?" Or she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like the dingy type." Basically, further like like thinking in his head like, "I want to be with this girl, but like I understand that it's not good for me." It's that type of thing. So she feeds him. He barks. So after they go to eat, they go back to the public safety department where Machina works at as a devil hunter. Um, we're told that they're actually devil hunters actually get once the public safety place that she's at, they actually treat their workers pretty good, despite of them going through a dangerous situation of killing devils for a living. They actually have good health care from what I heard. I was like, oh well. I know I'm after my life saving people from devils, but I think I wouldn't mind doing that, knowing that given the circumstances. But we're introduced to Aki Hayakawa, and Denji be working close with him. And from what we are initially known about him is that he basically is kind of a dick.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Yeah,
say that definitely. Yes, he's a dick.
yeah, yeah. Um, so when they go out on patrol, they go to the alleyway. He's like, "Oh, just follow me," and Aki like proceeds to beat the crap out of Denji and tells him like, "Hey, man, just get out. Just walk away from this, man. Like, don't want to be a part of this because like people risk their lives every day doing this job, and you're not. I don't think if you're here for the wrong intentions, you shouldn't be here." And he says like, "You're probably here because you want to get close to Makima, right?" He's like, "Yeah, that's why I'm here." And he does the most disrespectful thing ever. Like, not only does he throw a cigarette at him, but he also spits on him. And he's like, "You know what? Just tell Makima that you just decided to just. Well, I'll tell Makima that you just decided just to run away and quit, and we'll never see you again." And Denji said, "Screw that." When Aki walks away, he decides to kick him in the family jewels. We'll say that.
Repeatedly.
Yep.
Repeatedly, yes. And we're like, ouch. So Aki's not having kids ever.
Not anytime soon, anyway.
No, not anytime soon. And
So rip
like
him.
from what Denji says is that when it comes to guys, he's not gonna like just punch. He's not punching type when it comes to dudes. He'll just kick you in the family jewels. We'll say that. I'm not gonna use the other term because I want to be like, I know this is like a not a like kid friendly channel, I want to say, but I'm still gonna at least try to be a little bit more courteous when it comes to this type of dialogue. You see what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
yeah. But people know
We
what
are
I'm talking
rated
about.
E for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, like people know what I'm talking about when it comes to that type of thing. It's no different than what happened with Vegeta in the abridged series where like he keeps getting kicked in the D, like that type of thing. But
To be fair, Vegeta deserved it a couple of times.
he did. Oh yeah, definitely he did.
Just throwing it
He's
out
the
there.
one you're like, why? Why do you keep kicking me in the D?
It's over 9,000.
So yeah, so they go back to her Makima's office, and and Aki's and Denji tells Aki like then tells Makima that like, oh yeah, he got hit repeatedly by the nut devil, so yeah, this is why he's kind of like feeling bad or whatever. And he's like, no, he's lying. he he kicked me in my in my family jewels. She's like, oh, I see you two getting along just fine or whatever. But there was a piece of dialogue I will bring this up to about how Denji's like, hey, to Aki, I like where I'm at right now. And I'm willing, and to keep my life the way it is now, I'm willing to die for it. Because I was in a very bad place beforehand. This is the closest thing I'm going to get to having a fully functioning, normal-esque life. So,
Mm.
no, I'm not going to give this up for anybody. Not for you, not
Yeah.
for anybody.
He's like,
Oh,
I literally already died once before. Like, there's nothing you can do to stop me from this because I've already had the worst happen to me once already.
Facts.
Like,
Mhm.
you
what
punching me isn't shit to me.
what are you gonna do? Kill me again? I already
Right,
been
And,
there, already
exactly.
done that.
and like, you can't do that because public safety's not gonna let you because I'm too valuable.
Exactly.
Well, and
And
the guy even says, like, is that really true? I thought that was just a rumor. I thought people were just making that up, that a person can turn into a devil and still be normal or whatever. Or
this
that
is
it
not,
could even
it's a very
happen at
rare
all,
occurrence.
right?
It's a very rare occurrence from what
Mm-hmm.
the show
And I
has.
imagine it probably, when it does happen, it usually turns out pretty bad.
Right, yeah. And before we continue, I forgot there was a little incident that happened where they go to someone's house and they're looking for a fiend. Now, a fiend, devil fiend, is basically a devil who's possessed the body of a human being who's already dead. So if we go back to the first episode, had Puchita had not been Denji's heart and actually took control of his body, you basically would have gotten like how Denji would look like with a chainsaw head, but it would have been just that permanently. He wouldn't have never been normal again. And that was a very interesting moment because you guys were yesterday, yes, last week when we did this, we were like, I wonder what would have happened had Puchita had taken over Denji's body instead of reviving him. And this is the result of what you would get if a
Yeah,
devil takes over a human person's body. So I'm glad they explained that.
yeah. I was glad to get that explanation finally. Like, I mean, not really finally because I'm in episode 2, but it's nice to get that answer, early on,
Mm-hmm.
so you understand it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It gives you better context. Like, oh, this is what happened. This is what Denji would have looked like had he not been, you know, revived the way he did.
Yeah,
So you get the scene where like Aki gives him this axe or whatever. He's like, here, we're gonna take care of this devil. Um, show me what you can do with your chainsaw powers or whatever. And so they see the fiend, and he's freaking out. He's about to attack him or whatever. But Denji gives this dude a nice clean cut, cuts the neck right off his head, and you're just like, wow, like that was very quick and efficient. And Aki's kind of confused. He's like, wait, why didn't you just use chainsaw powers to kill him? And he's like, well, I just wanted to give him a mercy kill because like, I wanted to suffer. And Aki just looks at him and
Like,
he's like, listen here. We don't do that here. We don't give mercy to these devils. These devils are evil. They deserve to die. My entire family got killed by these things. If anything, you should have made him suffer for what he did.
yeah.
And
And
it's
see
like,
that,
wow. So,
and that
yeah.
seems a bit powerful because now you're seeing the other side of the coin of these devils and their, what they do and what they could do.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Did you guys get a Sasuke vibe from this Aki dude?
mm,
Not
not quite.
not immediately, no. But
Not
I
quite.
mean, okay.
but now that you're mentioning the parallel, I can see why you get it, if that
Yeah.
helps.
But in my personal opinion, and most people will agree with me, I'm not sure how many, but like people might agree with me, disagree with me, it's fine. But most people would say that this is Sasuke done right because like as like if you as you once you continue on, you'll find out more things about this guy, and you'll start to see, not necessarily agree with him on everything, but you'll start to see from his perspective like, oh wow, like this dude actually, is very compelling for what we're giving.
Sasuke done right was what's his name? Kurapika Kurta, right?
Yeah.
I mean, basically Sasuke was that character.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, come on, crazy red eyes, whole family killed, revenge
It's
quest.
it's literally the the
Yep,
same character.
yep.
Except like I guess this except the Kurapika is more like he's friendly with the main protagonist at least, like
Yeah. Well, and I
oh
don't know. There's a lot of chemistry going on. I like it. Um, and a lot of that, I like how much of it came out in the opening.
mm-hmm.
The opening really has me pumped for seeing the whole rest of the crew because I just love how they just all have all these quirks and none of them are perfect. They're all
Right.
kind of a
Mm-hmm.
mess, really.
Definitely. And so so after he kills the fiend, Denji he's like, yeah, the real reason I didn't kill that fiend with my devil powers is because I ain't wanted to get destroyed, get blood all over these beautiful magazines. No, for those of you who are wondering, like, oh, why did he did all that for some magazines? No, these are magazines that are basic. It's essentially Playboy. If you want to get technical about it, it's like, oh, that's why. And
And
like
everything
Denji's
makes sense now.
he's like he's like, yep, I'm taking this because I mean, you're not gonna need them.
Hmm.
I just love how like simple minded he is because, like we said, Denji's not the protagonist that most people expect, but he is somewhat of a realistic one
And
because like
and that's the
he's
beauty of this anime so far. Sorry.
yeah, you're good.
Like the fact that he's not a Goku or a Naruto or whatever. He's just a down to earth guy who's had really, really bad luck in life.
Hmm.
And
Well, and
now
sadly for a lot of people out there, that might be pretty relatable. There are some folks out
and
there who have some really, you know, seriously messed up lives who, grow up real hard and have hard, rough childhoods who might, see something in Denji
and
and
see
be
that's
like,
why
dang, if he can get through that, like,
the scene in the last episode with the bread and the desire for Jam to go with the bread is so powerful
mhm.
because
Hmm.
even in this country, that's a problem for some people.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's relatable. I mean, I can't understand it in the way that those people could, but I definitely can at least appreciate the parallel and the relatability of this character overall.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely Denzi is not your typical main protagonist. He's literally not really a protagonist yet. He's just a guy trying to get by, and now that he's found like even a small semblance of like respect and love and food, he's willing to do anything for it. Like he said that, like, I just want to hug Makima, like he yearns for human connection.
Something he never got when he essentially lost both his parents.
Yeah, he never had it. So
Hmm.
now he yearns it to wherever he can get it. And yeah, I know there's some like innuendo of like him wanting to do more than hug. I get it. But the base idea still to me does not go full on to perversion. It stays in the he's touch starved and he's trying to remedy it, but society has taught him that
Mhm.
the innuendo is the only salvation he'll get.
Right. Because, like I said, he never had a proper education. Never went to school. He never
He literally grew up on the street killing demons with a little chainsaw dog.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think he went to school a day in his life. I doubt he had friends. Honestly,
No.
I don't think so because the way he talks to Pochita, that's not a person that has friends. Like
Mhm.
he wouldn't invest that much of his soul into Pochita if he didn't have somebody else in his life, like a best friend, childhood friend, whatever you want to say.
Right.
But there doesn't seem to be a childhood friend. There doesn't seem to be some like classmate or best friend or cousin or sibling or anything. Like old man passed him the buck, and he has to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he
And
dealt with it with chainsaws.
He what?
right.
He dealt with
Uh,
it with chainsaws.
Yeah, that he
so
did.
what else happened? Oh yeah. So so next we're introduced to the crazy beauty herself, Power. Now
Power.
Power
I
is an
love
interesting
her.
character. Power is a
I love
fiend
her.
who took over the body of course, of a dead girl, obviously, and she is partnered up with Denji through Aki's request. And Denji at first is like, wait, we're getting fiends to be part of our organization. But by the way, the organization is actually their division is Division 4, which from Makima said is that it's an experimental one because they have not only human devil hunters, but they also have fiend devil hunters as well on their group as
Mhm.
well. So it's a very interesting experimental division. And if they don't perform well, then we all know what happens to them. As Makima said earlier, that
Mhm.
dogs who don't obey get euthanized. So yeah. So they go out in the patrol. There said there was a devil somewhere out there. We're told that devils actually have a very distinct look. They have like distinguishable body like body types. Like they have noticeable deformities. For Power, she has like these two long horns on her head. The devil that fiend they just killed earlier in the episode had um like I guess what's the term for, want to say, like it's the insect I guess mouth. What was it called? I can't think of the
Proboscis?
word. I think so, yeah.
Like what a mosquito has?
No. No, pincers. That's the thing I was gonna say.
Oh yeah,
Pincers.
pincer. Yeah, mandibles.
Mandibles. Yeah,
Pincers
yeah.
are the like claw things that like crabs and scorpions have. Mandibles are the
Right.
big jaws.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Mm.
Mandibles. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, they go out on patrol. From what Makima said, that since fiends aren't really that regarded well in this world, so of course they're gonna have to like scout on the rooftop, because if they saw like a fiend just like walking around in the daylight, they could be like, why is there like like a devil fiend just walking around? Like they would freak out and call public safety, thinking that like she's some type of like devil that's gonna be coming around killing people or whatever. So it was a good call to be like, hey, we're gonna have you guys just patrol on the rooftops. And so Power has the unique ability to smell uh other devils, because she is the I think she said I think she has the power like of the blood fiend, I think. And we see her like jump off a rooftop and summon a freaking hammer from her blood and smash this thing, and it's just a lot of see Kilmer blood everywhere on the floor, and she's just laughing crazy. It's freaking hilarious. So like, so for what people tell me is that like they want to say that Power is the equivalent of a anime girl version of Eric Cartman from South Park.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if that's the accurate comparison yet.
That's what people tell me, but like I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't know. I just wait and see.
I
And,
don't I don't see it yet.
but she is interesting though. I'll give her
She is
that.
very interesting. She's a very interesting character that I really like.
Yeah, her power is really fucking cool.
Yeah. And that's basically at the end of the episode. She just laughs at the end, and that's pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah. And now we're stuck with until Tuesday again.
Yep. I'm pumped. I like where it's headed. I really like the style of it. Very compelling.
Yeah,
What's your
I
thoughts,
really
Emily?
am enjoying this a lot.
Oh yeah.
Chainsaw Man is probably becoming one of the things that I'm most excited about during the week in terms of like what I watch now.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
I'm definitely very excited to see episode 3, and I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm getting a lot of my friends telling me I need to read the manga, but I'm kind of holding off on reading the manga right now, to be honest, until the season ends, just so that I can, you know, see it blind with no idea what comes next. I like
Yeah,
that.
no, I totally understand that, honestly. That makes a lot of sense. Well,
Because see,
because you
like,
never know what the pacing in the manga is, and you might be like, "Oh shoot, I just went way past where the anime ended," or something.
yeah. And so, like, Anthony mentioning the scene in the beginning uh that was missing from the anime. I would never know that because I didn't watch the I didn't read the manga. I mean, and to me, not knowing that, if he had never told me, I would go on really saying, "Oh, this is amazing." It's amazing
Oh yeah.
regardless, right?
Mhm.
But it doesn't give you like something to compare it to and be like become nitty
Mhm.
gritty. Like so, whenever like for example, Lord of the Rings is a good example of this. So I read Lord of the Rings in middle school.
Mhm.
Um, and the thing about Lord of the Rings is that you can you can read it and then take take a chance at watching the movie and you'll see the differences immediately. Like scenes
Mhm.
in the movie do not come into the do not come out of the book in some cases. Or in some cases, things in the books are outright skipped completely, like in the early
Mhm.
parts of the Fellowship of the Ring. So it, when I watch a movie after reading the book, I always get very critical and analytical of like, oh well, the book did this, but the movie didn't do this. The same thing would happen with me here with Chainsaw Man. And this is a huge reason of why I sometimes don't read as much manga as like most people do, is because I like the element of surprise on the big screen.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
In
So
some ways, I kind of. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
And so in some ways, I kind of regret reading the manga because I'm like, oh, like I know it's gonna
But
happen, but I'm like, oh, like I really wish I had waited
but
because I'm
see,
like,
there's another side to that, like what I just described. I described a negative part of what happens when you do both mediums, but there is a positive in that you can imagine in your mind the scene play out because all you get are still photos of what's happening in the manga.
mm-hmm,
But your imagination takes over and you have to fill in the gaps of what you don't see in the manga. to understand, oh, well, he did this thing, and here's the things he did while doing that. Like, here's what you could see. Like, your imagination has to play a part of that now.
Exactly.
However, now you're seeing it, so you kind of eliminate the question of, okay, am I imagining it the way they wanted me to?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, and I
there
mean,
is
and
a
that's
good
that's
side
where
to it.
direction comes in.
Yeah.
Direction and consultation with the creator.
And I have to believe that most of these adaptations from Japan, the creator is involved to a very high degree, much more than
Yeah.
America, I think. Because I've noted that there are sometimes when a movie or a TV show adapts a book or something, they don't seem to consult the creator as much, which is how you get complaints sometimes about, oh, well, I wish they did this more, or I wish they did less of this, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see both sides of the coin here, is what I'm trying to say.
It's funny you say that. Is because they actually brought back an anime that was actually ended 10 years ago. It's called Bleach. Most people have heard of it. I'm not sure if you or
Bleach?
Clarissa have never heard of it. Hmm?
Bleach?
Yeah, Bleach.
Like,
Gosh, it sounds familiar.
I, I,
Hmm.
I don't think I've ever heard of this, Anthony. Please tell me more about this guy named Ichigo.
So you have heard of him. Okay, so you have heard of it.
Anthony, hold up here. Hold up. You're not going to walk into this podcast and assume that we've never heard of Bleach with a straight
I
face.
had to be sure because I didn't want to be like, oh wait, what? So what's that?
I think at this point in this era of like anime fandom, it's a requisite thing that you at least know what Bleach is and probably know what the main character's name is.
Right.
Because if you can't tell me Ichigo is the main character of Bleach, there's a problem here, bud.
Oh yeah.
So yes, I know who Ichigo is. I know what Bleach is. I've never watched it, but I know
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. They had just brought it back like last week. It actually came on Monday, and Chainsaw Man came on Tuesday
Yeah, I
of last
remember
week.
hearing about that.
Yeah. So they actually are following very close to the manga too, and they actually have the creator of Bleach, Tite Kubo. He's actually, basically giving supervision over the anime itself. So he's like, "Oh yeah, we're keeping this scene, we're taking this scene out," that type of thing. So it's nice to have like some input because the manga actually ended I think 4 or 5 years ago, I think. And now they have enough time to actually animate everything. Then we're about adding no filler to the story, and if they do add filler, it's going to be like just more they're adding more stuff in what's already to the canon already. So
Yeah.
like longer fight, like make some extended fights maybe, um, and just that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so Frankie just came in, and I have to tell Frankie what I was just asked by Anthony because it's really important that Frankie hears this.
Hi, I'm lonely.
Okay, so hello, Frankie, and nomad of my different podcast who pops in whenever he feels like it.
That's right.
So guess what Anthony just asked me?
What's that?
So Anthony asked me and Clarissa, "Hey guys, have you ever heard of Bleach?"
Okay. Wow.
So that's our night.
Wow.
Also, we are recording, FYI.
Hi, world. I'm here. I'm
Okay.
sitting up.
So tangent over. Back to what we're doing. Anthony, continue.
All right. But as far as like the anime goes, is that like, well, as far as the manga and anime goes, besides that one particular scene I mentioned in Chainsaw Man, they actually adapted everything pretty much to the letter.
They did. I mean, from what I can tell, they did a pretty good job on that.
So I'm interesting to see how episode 3, how they're gonna do that.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
I'm
be really
excited to see
good.
what happens next. I'm, just waiting for it.
Yeah, of course we're gonna get more power, obviously, because she is a main character after all.
Yeah. And I mean, the cool part is, Power is just a really interesting character. I was about to say Power is powerful as a character, but I didn't want to do that pun quite yet. But I did it anyway because deal with it.
You know what's
I'm not
actually kind
gonna
of funny?
lie. That made me cringe a little bit.
Welcome to me.
But you know what was really funny though?
Hmm.
A show called Regular Show actually. It's so funny because I'm thinking like, wow, they actually like predict this. It's like a weird prediction or whatever. So like in one of the episodes, a character by the name of Mordecai talks to his friend Rigby, and it was something about power. They brought the word power up for some reason, and one of the characters is like, if I ever date a girl, I want her name to be the Power, and I'm like, why would you say that? And then years later, like. You have a character named Power, and you're like, oh, that's
Hey,
interesting.
I'm down. I'm here for it.
Is she
Right.
waifu though?
And she has red. She's like has red, long red horns on her head.
So no waifu. Okay.
No, not for you.
But maybe not for you, Frankie, but someone will. For somebody, it definitely she's
Oh,
waifu.
see, I'm not a sub, so
All right. Well. So, any last thoughts? So we can end in this awkward moment we just had.
No, we're good. And I apologize again. I'm like, guess, I guess I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, they probably didn't watch this. I'm like, oh, they probably heard of it at least. So my fault, guys.
The nerve of some people.
I mean,
said
I
like
thought
the
you were
dude just
doing a bit, to be honest.
I really
You know,
wasn't.
No, I knew he wasn't.
like the dude that jumps in at the end of the podcast just because. Yeah, nerve of that guy.
I know, right? What a jerk.
I know.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else to add for this week, we are Anime Declassified, presented by AnimeSecrets.org. Check us out on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We are currently on Spotify and iTunes and a whole host of other podcasting options that I can't even begin to remember. But we're on a lot of things, so check us out, Anime Declassified, Tokyo Secrets, AnimeSecrets.org. And coming soon to a YouTube channel near you, Fandom Toy Box.